largest buyout ever at $75 million. Jimbo Fisher just got fired by Texas A&M before the season's even up. I believe they just won their game this past weekend, but the boosters and team said, no, got to go. I personally think it's the right move. Jimbo Fisher has been living off a 2013 national championship for a very long time now. Mediocre. Kevin Sumlin's record was actually better. To go into those records a little bit more, or to go into those records would be a little bit more, but just on the surface, it looks like Kevin Sumler's tenure was better at Texas A&M. Guys, thoughts? Do we hate it? Do we love it? Should Jimbo have gotten an end of the season? Anything, Quinn?
Uh, for me, I don't really think the Mississippi State game swayed an opinion anyway. It wouldn't have. It's Mississippi State's the bottom team of the West. I think it's a little weird to fire him after he wins a game when you really made the decision to fire him after you lost the Ole Miss game. I don't
Right.
know why it took so long to do it. I thought they were going to wait till the end of the year. I think they probably should have waited to the end of the year just for the players and the stability of the program's sake on the closeout of the season. Um, if you're going to make the decision, though, I don't get why they waited so long. That's my only thing that I think's weird about it. I saw it coming. He's massively underachieved with really good talent.
Yeah, every single year he's underachieved, barring the COVID year where they lost one game. But, you can't have just one year like that. Honestly, I think this is a year too late, personally. You have that amazing recruiting class, and then you still do the same thing that you've done every other year, it seems like. I mean, it's 8-4 or 8-5, 9-4 type years over and over and over and over again. And personally, I think the reason why, they waited as long as they did is because they had to find this money. Now, 76 or 75, $76 million is a lot of money that we're talking about here. Now, I know Texas and them oil fields, they got the money, but $75 million just laying around to pay this dude to just say, get away from my program. Like, I have a feeling that once the boosters finally was like, okay, we have the money now, boom, that's when it was done. I think they were trying to find the money, get the money together, allot it from other divisions and all the boosters and this and that. And then once they finally had it, they said, all right, go for it. It's deserving firing. Personally, I don't see Jimbo getting a job for a long time, honestly. Now, I don't know what the stipulation is on if he gets a job next year. Does he have to pay that money back? I don't know if you remember Matt Rule when he was fired from the Panthers and had that buyout. He had to pay back some money because he took the job at Nebraska. Typically, when you have a buyout, that's sort of in the clause there where if you do take another job, you have to pay a sum of it back. However, good riddance. Bye. I mean, I don't think they should have fired Kevin Sumlin to begin with, and now here we are, same situation. 4 years later, 5 years later. So, bye-bye.
And for comparison, for buyouts, Jimbo, like I mentioned, is the leader now in that. The second closest guy was Auburn with Gus Malzahn at $21.5 million. A $50 million gap. That's how much they said, hey, Jimbo, get out of town. So just for reference there, guys, I think it's great. I think it's much needed. Personally, for me, there's some moral and ethical tendencies that come with this, but just off the rip, I'm kind of looking at Bobby Petrino to maybe promote him. I know it's not a great thing. I've always liked Bobby Petrino as a head coach and head coach only. Off the field issues, my hands are up. But Bobby Petrino, I think, is a quality head coach, and I think it could be a head coach at Texas A&M. And we just mentioned all his money, could be an easy money candidate because he's trying to still rebuild his reputation. So I don't know. Quinn, you kind of shook your head on that one. If you have a better one,
Like off the rip, no. I just don't think Bobby Petrino is the right move. I think if you're Texas A&M, you want to start looking in a future of football direction, not a guy from the past direct. Usually when you do coaching hires, that's what you do. So you look at Kevin Sumlin, they lose a longtime head coach to bring in a new age Kevin Sumlin. Then they get ready to move on to him. They move to a guy of the past few years, football's past in Jimbo. Now you leave that. So I think they're going to head back in the opposite direction with their hire. Who that is, but I have seen rumors of Dan Campbell. I think that's stupid and that needs to stop. Dan Campbell's not going to leave an NFL head coaching job. Get out of here. But
especially with the success they're having currently.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do want to bring up, because of how much they're paying for the buyout, how much money will they have to even pay a new head coach in his first year or 2 years or 3 years?
Yeah,
So,
might have to go with head coach.
Yeah, I mean, you may have to go like an OC somewhere and give them not necessarily the minimum, but give them, a first-year head coach salary, which is not the 10 million, 12 million, 11 million that we see from the top-end head coaches. So that's a possibility. I've seen Cliff Kingsbury's name thrown around. Not sure about that. But when you said Lane Kiffin, that really kind of piqued my interest, because Lane Kiffin out in Texas with that draw of a program, I actually would not mind seeing that. Although Lane Kiffin just doesn't fit the bill to me for a Texas A&M.
I'll say this about Cliff Kingsbury: perfect fit. He always goes 500.
Quality joke, Quinn. Quality joke.
I love it.